Just before we start, please submit any questions using the Q&A chat function, which we'll answer during the second half of the webinar. And so without further ado, I'll hand over to Steve Courtney, who's going to kick the session off. Good afternoon, Steve. Great to welcome you to the webinar. And can you tell our audience what's in store for them over the next 45 minutes?
Thank you. Hello, everybody, and thank you for taking the time out to join us today from all over the UK. I know we've even got people here from Australia, so thank you very much for taking the time to come and join us. My name is Steve Courtney. I'm Business Development Manager for Robert Scott. Robert Scott are a janitorial manufacturer, designer and importer based in Saddleworth near Oldham. And for the last 6 years, I've been presenting, talking about and selling the Toucan devices to our distributor customers. We had a webinar back in October where we spoke to Dr. Darren Reynolds as Professor of Health and Environment at the University of Western England. And Dr. Reynolds is probably one of the world's leading experts on the solution that these Toucan devices make. And we also had Robin Turner, who makes the devices down at his units in Frome in Somerset. So we thought the logical next step for a webinar would be talk to the people that buy the devices and also the companies that actually use them on an everyday basis. So with that in mind, we'll be talking to Marc Kemp, who is owner and managing director of Futures, who are based in Croydon, a long-standing customer of Robert Scott's, and we have a great relationship with Marc and his team there. And also be introducing you to Louis Beaumont, who is joint owner and managing director of Hive Cleaning, who actually use the devices on a daily basis. So it'd be really interesting to hear what Marc has to say from a distributor's point of view, and Louis, who is using it on a day-to-day business with his business. For those that are not aware, very quickly, the devices allow the end user to make their own extremely powerful sanitizer, disinfectant and cleaning solution themselves on site. And all you require is a device, small amount of electricity, ordinary tap water and a tiny amount of salt. And the solution is, it's not hazardous, it's not toxic, it's truly sustainable and very environmentally friendly. And we'll hear more of that from, I'm sure, from Louis, who's using it on a day-to-day basis. So with that in mind, I think we'll kick off, because I do waffle a bit, and let's talk to Marc. Hiya, Marc, how are you?
Yeah, really good, thanks. Nice one.
So Marc, I know you're incredibly young looking, but you have been in the cleaning industry for many, many years. Distributing cleaning products, and I know you're a go-to distributor down there.
Yeah.
As a favour, just tell us what changes you've seen over the last 12 to 18 months in your industry.
Changes have been massive. It's been a bit of a roller coaster journey, so we could talk about this for hours, but yeah, Brexit, COVID and the climate issues have pretty much dominated everything we do. We've seen huge demand for single-use products, which clearly popped up on that poll that we saw there as well. Yeah, supplying sanitizer, face masks, wipes, paper towels, nitrile gloves, and not even to mention things like alcohol gel. So
yes,
it's been it swept through every single product line that we supplied throughout last year. So it was a really big challenge. We're lucky to have some solid manufacturers behind us, and some of them UK based, which really helped that situation, to be honest.
Marc, have you seen a difference in people talking to you about sustainable products, more environmentally friendly products? You know, we all feel we need to do our bit. Has that been a big change for you in the last 12 months?
We've been nicely positioned. As you know, we've been doing, that's been a core of our business for more than 15, 16 years now, on that side for those products. So this is kind of, we're really well positioned for that stuff, and we do get asked a lot anyway, but 100% climate issues are at the top of the list at the moment. Code red written everywhere in the news even today. But yeah, this year we've seen a huge people just asking, what is my product that I buy? Are my hand towels, for example, sustainable? Yes, they are. What accreditations are they? We get those questions a lot more this year than ever. People are really caring about what they're buying.
Mark, can I ask you a bit of a thorny question? Because obviously you're selling lots and lots of chemicals to your customers. Obviously, one of the things about the Toucan devices is that the solution it makes is a really good sanitizer. It can all be used for glass cleaning, stainless steel cleaning.
Yeah.
It can use on fabrics, carpet cleaning, hard surface cleaning, and the customer is going to make it themselves and not necessarily buy those products from you. How do you deal with that? Do you sleep thinking about that?
Yeah, it was a big topic when we brought it on. We've actually sold our first unit back in 2015, so it's not actually old technology to us. Something we believed in a long time. We see the Toucan now. It's got these accreditations. It's got the potential. Yeah, it's a huge industry disruptor for the chemical industry for sure, 100%. We want to provide the future of cleaning, and we don't see why we wouldn't supply that from that side and offer our clients the best sustainable solutions, of which Toucan we think is as far as you can go on that side.
Cheers, Mark. And just a quick question before we move on to Louis, and you could just, if you wouldn't mind, just tell us about your relationship with Louis and Hive Cleaning. Have you seen a kind of a more of an uptake in disposable and waste over the last 12 months? Have people been asking about that and how they can stop wasting things and etc.?
Was that to me, Steve? Sorry.
It was, Mark.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we've got a really good example actually, where a pallet of sanitizer, for example, that would send up on a van regularly, 2 by 5 litres, equates to nearly 16 kilograms of single-use plastic waste. Yeah, that really deletes, the Toucan will delete that waste. It's something you can't ignore.
Mark, would you like to introduce us and all our attendees to Louis, and just very briefly just explain about your relationship with Hive Cleaning, who's a customer of yours?
Yeah, Louis has been an amazing customer for us. Actually come to us 4 years ago, initially very infancy of the company. We were really proud to be approached from that side. Got really similar values and ethics. This environment has been number 1 on their list from day one. He's got some really forward-thinking leader in Louis. He wants to become net zero and a B Corp company. We've got all these tools and products and support that we can offer Louis to help him achieve that goal. Which is
Thank you, Mark. That is some introduction. Can you live up to that, Louis? Would you mind? Would you mind just tell us about Hive Cleaning and your approach to sustainability and why it's so important to you and your clients?
As Mark said, sustainability was at the forefront of the business model right from inception. We wanted to build a company that not only would be successful, that we could be proud of, and that would have minimal impact on the future of the planet. So that was really, really important to us right from the outset. And as Mark said, Mark's company is very, very helpful in that front for us as a supplier. They make lots of recommendations. We often throw ideas at them that we found, and they do research for us. And basically, they're the ideal service partner for our sustainable business. From a client perspective, over the last few years, we've definitely seen a shift in importance of the environment and how the cleaning is done. They're interested now in things like having a low environmental impact, having low carbon, low toxicity. There's a lot of talk now in our customers about air quality. So all these things, that they all fitted our business really well, because we're already involved in that. We're already focused on all those elements that they search for already. But we're definitely seeing a shift over in the last couple of years over towards it's a more important element of tenders now. It's not just the cost and other elements. There's a big element of how much carbon are you going to generate delivering this service to us. So that's nice to see. It's nice to see it's a shift in people's mindsets, and it's more eco-focused, which is good.
Louis, can I just ask about how have your staff taken to it, your cleaners? Because I've been selling it for easily the last 6 years, and it invariably is the accountants maybe will buy the devices. I then go and see the cleaners, lots of arms folding.
Yeah.
What is this? It's just salt and water.
Yeah.
How did your guys take to it?
Yeah, that was the biggest surprise to me, actually. I mean, I've been in the cleaning industry for many, many years in various different forms, and adoption of a new idea, be it new machine or new product or even a new cloth, can often be the most difficult part of getting it delivered throughout the business and onto the shop floor, as it were. The Toucan Eco product was the first time I've ever not had any problem with adoption. And I'm not saying it, I'm being genuine. It surprised us all. When we did the initial trials in Q1 this year, we had absolutely zero pushback on using this product. They actually preferred it to some of the products that we were using. So that was brilliant for us. It was manna from heaven when the actual end users are actually enjoying the experience and want to use that instead of the other products. That's brilliant for us.
Yeah, it's really interesting that. I mean, Marc, you'll remember a couple of years ago, didn't we? Marc sold a 10-litre device into Chelsea Harbour, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Clients Marc has a kind of upend, and the cleaners there. Do you remember there was about a dozen of them, and they just weren't buying into it, was it? So I went with Marc and we did a presentation and I did some training with them, and I drank the solution. Do you remember? I think I made it.
Yeah.
Because this, for those listening in, it's totally safe. Not advising you to drink it, but it won't harm you. And I remember 2 or 3 of the cleaners actually had a drink as well, didn't they? And their whole attitude just changed in that hour into them and engaging with them on it. Completely.
It was even I walked out there trying to buy some more devices off Steve. It was a real, I think timing's really key with some of this stuff, and I think now it just feels like it's just so ready for it.
Yeah.
All the awareness is around, timing's ready, the accreditations, the EN accreditations are there. There's really that was the biggest challenge we'd had was the cleaners. The smell, it doesn't leave a smell, was always that massive perception and challenge we kept banging our heads against the wall on. And when Louis said that they all loved it, I couldn't believe it. I was just really, really pleased. It just shows how far we've come.
It was the thing for me as well. It's like it's got all the accreditations. It's an amazing disinfectant, probably better than anything else you can get on the market, and it's zero toxicity. So it's an amazing product. So I'm thinking, well, there's got to be a catch. It obviously doesn't clean, or it obviously leaves smears on everything. So when it didn't, I was like, this is it. I found an amazing. I mean, the products we were already using were all pro-bio, eco products, chemical-free products. But this is the next step. So, we now don't have any chemical miles because the equipment's on site. We got massive reduction in plastic waste, and it's effective in use, which was the most important thing. It was the final hurdle, really, for me when we were trialing it. So I was delighted when the cleaners gave that feedback.
It's great to hear. Thank you for that, Louis. Louis, just quickly, what sustainable initiatives are you doing at Hive Cleaning? And
we do
what do you do there?
Not just the cleaning aspect from using, A+ rated microfiber cloths that don't shed any plastic into the water table, to electric fleet, We only use renewable energy and things like that. But we also, as you probably see on social media, we adopt beehives with every new contract we get. So we've currently got just over 1 million bees in London and the home counties that we look after. And obviously our customers get some of the honey each year, and the rest of it all goes to a charity to support local charity, deals with underprivileged areas and helps bring nature and sustainability into people's lives, educate children in schools and things like that, which is nice to be part of. Some of our hives get branded with our company's different clients' logos and things, and they get honey that they can give their staff and put them in the kitchens and things. So it's a nice way to get some engagement. It gets people talking, like, why do you do that? Why do you do this as a sustainable thing? And it allows us then to have a chat and raise the importance of sustainability, especially bee populations, because the bee populations generally around the world are in massive decline. They're under a lot of pressure, and we really do need bees. Einstein said, when the bee goes, we'll soon be to follow. So he's a fairly smart guy, Einstein. So it's a good idea to look after them.
Louis, I think you're a hero to all of us now after that. Thank you for that. Just on a business point of view, Louis, do you feel that, you've gained the business, you've won the tender, you've gained the business. Do you think from a client point of view, it's very difficult for them to then go back to, I'm not saying the old fashioned ways, but, once that the toucans are in there and you're using that solution on their premises, do you feel that gives you a kind of a good, you're not going to lose that business, are you? Because I would assume anybody else get it would have to.
No, we don't look at it. We don't look at retaining business based on the systems that we deploy to deliver the service. We retain business because we deliver a really good service and the cleaning's to a high standard. Any client could insist that their future providers deploy this similar technology. Personally, I think this is the future of the cleaning industry, and I think more and more cleaning companies should and will adopt this. I think it's one of the best low carbon solutions I've ever seen. It's replaced just over 80% of the cleaning solutions that we deploy on site, which is an enormous reduction in chemicals. Even though they're probio enzyme bacteria based chemicals, they're still a liquid that's having to be taken to a site in a vehicle. So the benefits of it are enormous, and for the planet. And I think customers will more and more customers will see this technology, and they'll be insisting it's placed in tenders when they're tendering work.
Thank you, Louis. Thanks for that. Guys, I'm just, for the benefit of the attendees, I'm just going to very quickly just go through a little summary of where the devices are being used commercially across different sectors. And it's been really interesting for me. It's been quite a journey over the last 6 years, from being asked to politely leave premises because this is all pretty weird stuff. Last week, I was with Robin Turner, who makes the devices. We were out on a few calls, and he was telling me that now he exports and sells. He sold these devices to over 43 countries, worldwide. And it's used really extensively in lots of diverse industries, food processing and shipping. I know over the last 5 or 6 weeks, Rob has been installing the bigger devices that he does into practically all of the Cunard and PO ships. And they've all been coming into Southampton, and the big devices have been going in there. And just for those listening, the reason Cunard have taken those is to get rid of plastic waste. They get quite heavily fined for plastic that's disposed of. And also from the sanitizing point of view, they get heavily fined if there's an outbreak of salmonella and bacteria and stuff. And of course, the solution is a really, really effective killer of bugs. Fishing industry as well, trawlers, fishing vessels use them to make ice. So the ice is sanitized ice, and that protects the fish when they're being caught. So when they get back to port, there's no kind of diseases in there or anything like that, and they're totally fresh. Also in the farming industry, certainly in catering now, it's totally food safe. And for those listening, you know, it's been okayed by the prime authority for something like Compass, for instance, who are the biggest contract catering company, I think, in the world, Ilior as well. When you guys all go to a Frankie and Benny's or a Chiquitos, they're all cleaned and used by, and they use toucan devices for their sanitization in there. Certainly in the FM world, and you know, Louis is just kind of testament to that, used by various companies. ESS is part of Compass, use them in most of the military sites that they look after, schools, Chartwell schools, and it's really kind of expanding over the last, certainly over the last year, makeup artists, beauticians, local authorities. So I just wanted to, for the attendees who are not too sure where these solutions are used, it's pretty widespread really. So that's where they're used. So I'm going to end on that little bit, and that was just my little introduction for that. And I was just going to, I think we're going to see a video now, I believe, of Hive and their clients. Do you want to just talk to us about that, Louis, about what we're going to look at there?
Yeah, sure. So we were asked to, if we participate in a short film, just to demonstrate the Toucan Eco unit, which was one of the smaller units on a client's site. We've got a lovely customer called Fora, who are a very sustainable and eco-based luxury serviced office provider. They've got a massive focus on biodiversity. They're always looking for the best way to deliver any of their service elements of their business. So they kindly agreed to let us film in a couple of their buildings and have a few staff.
Yeah, where are Fora based, Louis?
They've got offices all over London. They've got quite a lot of serviced office spaces throughout London. They've got some in a couple of other cities, Reading, and they're quite a rapidly expanding business. I think there'll be a lot more throughout the country over the coming years.
Right.
But yeah, they're a lovely business and very like-minded when it comes to sustainability and trying to do things in the right way.
Brilliant, thank you, Louis. Well, we're ready to go, so we'll show you the video now and the attendees. This is Hive Cleaning and their customer that they work with called Fora.
Sustainability is one of the founding principles of our business. It was built on 3 pillars of ethics, sustainability and safety. We use Toucan Eco for a multitude of tasks in our business. The Toucan ecosystem has replaced our multi-surface cleaner, our antiviral cleaner, some of our floor cleaning products. It also goes inside our fogging machines for antiviral fogging. It goes into some of our floor machines for aqueous floor cleaning.
I care passionately that Fora takes a strong responsibility in how we operate our business. Toucan Eco is a cleaning product that Hive have brought into Fora, which was really good for us because we're all about biodiversity. We want to make sure that we create places that not only enhance everybody's everyday work experience, but actually doesn't have an impact on the environment.
What I love the most about Toucan Eco, apart from how easy it is to use, is most definitely the fact that it's environmentally friendly. For me, that's very important personally. But I also feel like it just gives great results, which is exactly what we need. We haven't had any negative comments. If anything, the cleaners are saying that it makes their life easier. So it's only been positive feedback so far. We love the fact it's got no toxicity, there's no hyperallergenic issues. The fact it's got a very low carbon footprint, and the fact it does a really good job cleaning. And at the moment, with the current pandemic situation, it's been really useful to be cleaning with a multi-surface that's also a really effective disinfectant at the same time. The Toucan Eco is a brilliant product. It delivers fantastic results in a very ecologically sound way, which is extremely important to us as a business.
That's a really nice little video there, Louis and Marc. Thanks for that. You must be quite proud of that, and also with you as well, Marc, there to be associated.
Definitely, yeah.
With that, isn't it? And Louis, what just very quickly on, there's a great video there at Hive, and we saw some feedback from your team there. And what other feedback have you got from your colleagues?
I mean, we've had quite a lot actually over the last few months, ranging from people using the product in ways that we didn't think, like the high pressure spray bottle that comes with the device. The guys have been using that as a deodorizer to take smells out of some of the washroom areas. And they were trialing it, and that produces a very fine mist that lingers in the air for a few seconds. It proved to be quite effective, to the point where we're now phasing out some of our trigger air freshener products that we use, our manual trigger bottle products, and we're switching over to that. Even some of our clients that have their own housekeepers have been using it, and they've commented how it worked as well. So, you know, it's another way of just reducing chemicals on site. The other feedback has been things like it's effective on removing marks from carpets and upholstery, and it doesn't leave smears. Just generally positive comments.
Yeah, it's interesting. When I first started selling them, I was always asked, could you change the color? Can we put a dye in it or something like that? And I'm guessing that was because people are used to green or blue, yellow chemicals, and also about the smell of it. You know, can you get it to smell like pine or something like that? How do you guys deal with that? Were they okay with that? The fact that
I mean, it's got a very, very faint odor. It smells a bit like a Spa hot tub or something like that. It's actually quite a very slight smell, but it's quite a pleasant one. It smells fresh. And the cleaners are like that. It doesn't linger, but equally it does seem to remove any odors that were in the room. I think most of our clients realize that if you're putting a perfume into a product, it is basically adding chemical to it. And I think that they rather have, as long as it doesn't smell, that it actually solves the problem in the room, which it seems to do. We've not had any problems with odors since using the product over the last sort of 7-8 months. So yeah, I think it is effective, even though it doesn't have a perfume.
Thank you, Louis. And Mark, just going back to you. So in your world there, busy world, distribution, janitorial, catering, you're the go-to. How do you see the next 12 months? I mean, after last year and the next 12 months, how do you see that going? Yeah,
we'd like to. Well, there's good noises. It's picking up month on month. Yeah, really good noises. We month on month is picking up. It is slow. We'd be lying if we didn't say it wasn't. We need people to get back to offices. That is our primary kind of client base city. It makes a real difference. We've seen another figure this morning that apparently says only 15% have gone back to offices, which I'm not sure how true that is, but it's something that popped up again this morning on that I was sent. That's only going to improve when the government give a little shove along to hope people go back into the offices and working environments. But that's a challenge in itself as well, because there's people that prefer to work remotely, and people have let go of their office spaces for places like taking advantage of places like Fora, for example. So that's an interesting trend that we can see. So diversifying and supplying to other industries is on the cards for sure.
Brilliant, thank you, Mark, and thank you, Louis, as well. I think we're going to go and spend the next few minutes answering some questions, if that's okay with you guys, that have been coming through to us. So we're going to hand over to a question and answer session. Mark, we'll only give you the easy ones, so don't worry or anything like that. It's not too difficult here. So we'll hand over to the questions that we've been getting from our attendees.
Okay, thanks, Steve. We did have some questions submitted ahead of the session, and we'll start with a couple of those before we move on to the questions coming through on chat. Remember, you can ask your questions using the Q&A or chat function. So the first question for Louis. Are property clients placing more importance on sustainability?
Oh, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, it's definitely a great. I mean, we're in 2 tenders at the moment, and they're counting carbon and eco elements of our business as a third of the tender assessment, which is, it shows a growing trend that it's moving in the right direction. Ethics and paying the London living wage and things like that have been around for a while, and we already a London living wage employer, but the environment now over the last year or two, maybe 3, is becoming more and more in a sharper focus for people. And I think as a lot of companies are thinking and in the process of doing their own net zero carbon journey, they're looking for service partners that are also can contribute to that by being low or net zero carbon themselves. So yeah, there's definitely a shift in the market and placing a much higher importance on the environment.
Fantastic, thank you. And we heard some feedback from your team at Hive Cleaning during the video. And what other feedback have you had, possibly from or the client?
I mean, the feedback from customers has been positive because they've not seen any difference in the standard of cleaning. The clean standards are still high, but they know that they're getting their service delivered in a more eco-friendly, lower carbon way. So it's a win-win for us all, really.
Fantastic, thank you. And over to Marc. More of a commercial question here. How does Toucan Eco affect chemical sales?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, we covered that as well slightly, but it is going to have an impact. I mean, the potential to eradicate 80% of your chemical usage in a cleaning environment is a real possibility with this product. But it is the future of cleaning, and we want to be supplying that product. So it's a door opener for us as well. So there's many distributors out there that don't and will not offer this product. It's a great opportunity for us to go in and offer the product. It's got plus sides as well. On that side, a lot of door opening possibilities.
Fantastic, thanks, Marc. One of the questions we just had in now is someone suggested there's different models in the Toucan Eco range, Steve.
Yeah.
Can you quickly talk through what those models are and what they're best used for?
Yeah, sure. There's quite a lot of devices, but we kind of concentrate at Robert Scott with the smaller ones. And we've got a pretty good variety now. We've just recently brought out a retail product called the e-spray. That will make 350 mils of product on a go. It's just a USB port, goes into your battery, your phone charger. Takes about 8 minutes, and that will give you 350 mils of solution. We then have a 1 litre device. They all do the same thing, everybody. They all make the same solution. They just make different amounts of it. 1 litre jug there, which I think Louis kind of takes those on his sites. That will be 1 litre of solution at a time. Only takes 5 minutes to make. It's just ordinary tap water. It's just ordinary table salt on that we'll put on our fish and chips tonight. The next range up from that is a 10 litre device. Again, makes the same solution, but more of it. 10 litres, takes about 15 minutes. And just to put that, so what's 10 litres equate to? That's the equivalent of about 13 750 ml spray bottles. But of course, when that's been made and you put them in your spray bottles, you just make some more. You can make it any time you want. You just add the salt solution, add the water, press the activation button, and after 15 minutes, it will change the structure of the water, hydrogen and oxygen, the sodium chloride, which is the salt, and change the structure of that to make hypochlorous acid and the sodium hypochlorite. Up from that, we do a device called a Toucan Active Plus, a bit more sexy. It has a couple of spray bottle dispensers and a hose dispenser. That will make 20 to 30 litres in a go and takes 45 minutes to activate. Then the biggest device that we do is the Toucan Flow. We have one of those in Somerset House, looked after by Susan Ryan. I know she's attending today. Hello, Susan. Works for Incentive FM. And that device will make you something like about 800 litres a day. It's fully automatic, and just periodically a little light comes on the device and says, Susan, can you put some more salt in for me, please? But basically, if the level goes down on the tank, it switches on the machine and it makes some more. So we have a kind of a full range of that. Robin at Centrigo made bigger devices that, as I said before, go into shipping, farming, and food processing. I think it's while I'm just doing my little bit as well, you know, and we're talking about sustainability and the environment, you know, these devices, you know, definitely are. It's a very small amount of electric to make the solution. It's actually about 10 watts per litre. Perspective, at home we'll pay 13p for a kilowatt, which is 1,000 watts. So if you think a device is only using 10 watts to make a litre, kind of gives you an idea of the electric use. Salt, it's just ordinary salt. On the bigger devices, everybody, it's salt granules, water softener. An idea on that will probably cost you £6 or £7 for a 10 kilogram bag. That will make you 10,000 litres of solution.
Yeah, we've got a few more questions just come in. And there's one from Peter, a bit more of a technical question. And asks, what is the risk of salt and water to electrical products? Now, Mitch is working in the fitness industry, and he's just asking about potential damage to equipment such as treadmills and bikes with embedded touchscreens. So is there any risk to electrical products? And that's from Mitch.
Hi, Mitch. Thanks for that question. We have a really good case study on our website, actually, from a fitness centre. I think they're based over in Leeds, which might be worth having a little look at if you go to our website. That's toucaneco.co.uk. But quick answer to your question. You know, if you poured a load of that solution on something, yes, it won't do much to the electrics, but then so would water and so would be the sanitizer, whatever you're using at the moment. But just to use it as a sanitizer, cleaner, lightly spraying, you're going to be fine on that. The biggest company in the world, we're not allowed to say the name, but they're not called Oranges. They use the Toucan solution in every one of their stores in the world, and they use that to clean the stores, but also they use it to clean their fantastic gadgets that we all buy and stuff. So they've had that actually independently tested so that it's safe to use on their phones and things like that. So Mitch, you'll be, you know, be assured that it's not going to cause any problems to your product, you know, to your treadmills or whatever, if it's used properly and light.
Fantastic, thanks, Steve. So one for Louis. We've talked about how the product can clean, and I think you mentioned clean, disinfect, and sanitize. Someone's just asked, can you also use it as a deodorizer? And that's for Louis.
Yes, we do use it as a deodorizer as well. Yeah. The kit that we tend to buy comes with a double action high pressure spray bottle, which we buy more of as well. And when the solution's put in that, it creates a very fine mist that floats in the air, and you go back in the room after a few minutes and it seems to have grabbed the odor and taken it to the floor. So yes, it does. It is an effective deodorizer. It also works when we do mop floors with it sometimes. We use it in some machines. It does leave the floors without any negative odors as well.
That's fantastic, thank you. A quick one for Steve. We've been asked what product warranty are we offering, and he's also asked how much we're charging for the products.
Okay, who was that? That was a good question. So is that Mitch? Yeah, Mitch, if you would like to contact me after this, and we'll be putting the information up at the end of it, we can discuss about pricing on, or your nearest distributor. Hopefully you're near Croydon, and then we can talk to Marc about that. All the devices have a 1-year warranty, Mitch. That's the answer to your question.
Okay, next question we've had in is, do the devices need to be service maintained? How do you maintain the devices? And probably Steve, that's best for you, I guess.
Yeah, they're really easy to service and maintain. And I think Louis can back me up on that. It's just a question of following the instructions, treating them correctly, putting the right amount of salt in. For instance, in the 1 litre device, there's a measuring spoon, it's just 2 grams of salt. However, you can't break them. If you over salt it and the devices just won't work, they'll switch off. You haven't broken them. It's a defense mechanism there, because salt's a really good conductor of electric. And it's just a case of getting the water out, just giving a quick rinse out and putting the correct amount of salt in. So on the maintenance thing, it's just really straightforward. It's worth saying as well, guys, these are handmade down in Somerset. They're not big factory jobs there. We get an order, we pass it on to Robin, and Robin makes the device. So they're kind of individually made there. So not much servicing and not much maintenance needed on those devices. Just treat them nice and put the right amount of salt in and you'll be absolutely fine.
Fantastic, thank you. We've got a question from our friends over in Australia. And this might be one for Louis again. How does staff go managing the age of the solution?
That's a very good question. So, like all things, when you're introducing a new thing, we have a couple of training elements. We have a system called UVA, which is a video training platform, and we've got a video of how to make the solution on that. But we also, when we're introducing it to cleaners for the first time, we actually have a little PowerPoint presentation. We visit them on site and we go through the efficacy elements and just to get them to understand why we're doing it, the environmental benefits, etc., and that kind of thing. Sorry, I've totally lost my train of thought. What was the question again?
Yeah, Louis, it was about the how your staff deal with how long the solution lasts.
Right, sorry, yes. So
when
part of that training is we tend to, most of our jobs are Monday to Friday. So what we've said is basically at the end of the shift on a Friday, when you finish, every person empty out their bottle. Even if they made a batch on a Thursday the day before, because they just make it as they need it. But every Friday at the end of the shift, every bottle gets emptied and put back in the store cupboard. And then every Monday when they come back on shift, they all make a new batch for themselves. And that's the best way for us to manage not having sort of older product knocking around on the shelves. It's less effective.
I'll just pick up on that point as well while we've got time. I know we're running out because people will be interested on the life of the solution. And just so you're aware, we've been doing a lot of work with North Lanarkshire Council up in Scotland. They've taken a lot of devices, the 1 litres and the 10 litres. They had it independently tested for how long the solution stays active, and they just did it over 4 days. So they did that with their local EHO, which was in Glasgow, and they made some solution on a Monday, and they then checked that solution 4 days later on a Thursday, and it was still log 5, log 6 4 days later. And for that, what that means is it was still 99.999 or even slightly higher than that 4 days later after the solution has been made. And when I talk to people, I normally say, look, shelf life of 5 to 7 days. If that's what you require, I'm not being flippant, but just throw it away and make some more because it's kind of free to make. But generally, I talk about 5 to 7 days.
Okay, great. We've got a statement and a question from Helen, who is from Atlantic College.
Yeah.
Helen said, I also use it in a stable. It is an effective, safe, sanitizing product for animals.
Yeah.
That's possibly for another webinar, but that's really great to hear. But the question from Helen is, would Robin and Steve be interested in doing a seminar for students on Toucan Eco?
Absolutely, be delighted to do. Yeah. Yeah. Hello, Helen. Good to hear the question. Helen, by the way, guys, is the cleaning manager at Atlantic College, which is a college down in Bridgend in South Wales. And it's a really super lovely place, just going down onto the sea there. And they took quite a lot of 10-litre devices, probably 2.5, maybe 3 years ago now. And they have them in the dormitories there. So the cleaners can clean the dormitories, and they, like the students, can make their own solution and maybe even clean their own rooms. And I remember Helen taking one for I think they have a little donkey farm there as well, and some pigs and things like that. So hence Helen saying it's good for animals as well there. And Helen, yeah, me and Robin would be delighted to do something like that for you. Absolutely no problem at all.
Right, fantastic. So we're coming to the end of the session, and there's one more thing to ask of you, and that's to take part in our final poll. It's a really simple question. From what you've heard this afternoon, how do you feel about the possibility of chemical-free cleaning using Toucan Eco? And the options are on screen now, so please cast your votes. And we're obviously really interested to see your views on this one. Okay, just give a second for those votes to come in. You can see them flashing on screen, which is brilliant. Great, so we'll share the recording of this session by email, so you can watch on demand. Please feel free to share with colleagues. I know there's a few people being touched saying they couldn't make the event due to holidays and such, so we'll share it soon. Finally, a big thanks to our panelists today. That's Marc Kemp from Future Supplies.
Thanks, everyone.
Louis Beaumont from Hive Cleaning.
Thank you.
Steve from Robert Scott. And a special thanks goes to Katrina Larkin from Fora Spaces for allowing us to film on site a couple of weeks ago in one of their high-end shared workspaces in London. It's a really fantastic location. And for anyone who'd like to find out more, there's lots of information on the website. Steve mentioned it before. It's www.toucaneco.co.uk. And you can also follow us on social at toucan_eco, where you can also see a recent feature on ITV's This Morning with the Toucan Eco e-spray. We've shared the results of the poll on the screen, so you can all see it. And that's it. Thanks so much for joining, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye now.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Cheers, Steve. Cheers, Lee.
Cheers, Mark. Thank you, Louis.
Have a good one.
No problem. Take care.